That's good. Well, good evening, Dennis. Happy hour to you.
Happy hour.
Yes.
To our average listener, ages 35 to 49.
Yes.
Happy hour. Where is it? Where can you find this?
You mean you're not talking about happyhour.fm, are you? The website?
No. Talking about the other 5 shows I do, Tuesday through Sunday.
Ah, right. Yeah. So, turns out I've just had to renew the domain name, happyhour.fm, and it has cost us more than we have made in our Patreon donations this year.
Well,
so we are in the red.
We're going to have to.
We are in the amber.
3 corners. Hey Siri, so we are in the red. My favorite beer. I have a Smittix over yonder.
My phone just started talking about being in the red because she that should not be named apparently just got triggered.
Shut your fucking phone off, man. For the first time ever.
Hey Siri, who is Dennis?
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
Hey Siri.
Which Dennis?
Good.
Hey Siri, who's Dennis?
Which one? Dennis Rowe or Dennis Strands?
I don't know who Dennis Rowe is. Okay, anyway. That was fun.
Well, I wondered what you was going to say.
Well,
just give you my contact info. You don't want to do that.
I have a local India Pale Ale for consumption this evening. You're always
leave it there a second. It's got it.
It's the label design is bad. It's black on blue. But you're always championing your local breweries, and so this is a local. I think he's from Ireland, who came to live in Spain and set up a little brewery, and was one of the first craft breweries, microbrewery sort of people around in my region.
How far from your house?
I think I could get there in like 25 minutes, but I never have because I have never had the opportunity to, I've never gotten permission to go and drive to a brewery and then have someone drive me back. But
we'll do that when I'm there, and I'll drive us back.
Good plan. But yeah, it's good. He's got a whole bunch of different different recipes and styles and things. And so we're going to.
Does he sell an amber?
I don't think so. We're going to start off with. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, baby. So so they have both India Pale Ale and American Pale Ale, which is kind of interesting, because the IPA got so popular in America that America took its own take on it, I guess, or something. But hold on.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's pale ale in India. So PIA
with overtones of India.
Yes,
it's overtones of India. You can almost hear the people screaming in the background for more room. It just has a certain overtone.
There's a little bit of curry
crying out for
flavor
food
in there. Yeah. I don't know. So, how has your week been?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. It's been lackluster. It's been icy cold. I've been snow blowing. We got a winter storm, so I was out there. It reminded me of my time out in California, where there was no snow.
In California? You Snowblew?
No, there was no snows. So when there was snow here, well, of course, in the Rocky Mountains there was snow, but certain places, no snow whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
San Diego, for example. My word, it's a beautiful climate in this country.
Yes.
In this beautiful country of ours.
So is the past tense of I snowblew some snow?
You of all people should know how to parse that.
I snowblowed?
You tell me. Tell me what you do.
I did
episode
some blow.
To episode.
I don't know.
You did some blow. You did some blow while you snow blowed in the snow. is blue. That's how you know.
I snow blue, but it was all white. So.
Wow, that's funny.
It's. I don't get it.
It's cold and it's icy, and I mean the cold. It was 9 degrees.
Yes.
So single digit
9 degrees.
temperatures are 9.
Yes.
Number 9.
Well, it was 8 degrees here, but that was in Celsius, so a little bit warmer.
Conversion would be
8 degrees Celsius would be. Hold on, Hey Siri, what's 8 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
8 degrees Celsius is 46.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
Did you get that, or was that just in my headphones?
No. I got it very well.
Okay.
Got it very well.
So that for people in my town is like super freezing. They're just complaining all the time. Like, oh my God, the world is ending. It's just the end of the world. It's so cold. Oh my God.
Right.
But everyone lives in different climates and is adjusted to whatever.
Well, I was headed to Ann Arbor for a memorial of a friend of mine who died in September, and I had to make the decision not to go because the weather was so bad. And it would have taken me maybe 4 or 5 hours. There could have been traffic diversions, and it ended up being probably a local event. I'm so sorry I couldn't go. I was going to take a friend of mine who said, well, weather willing, a week ago. And then when I wrote her, she says, like, I don't know, man. It's going to take you 3 hours to get there from here.
Yeah.
And you're 2 hours from here. So I don't particularly want to spend the day driving in the snow, she said. So when it was spaced with being by myself and then in the snow. But I feel bad about it nonetheless.
I think whoever the deceased was would forgive you for that.
Yeah.
I would forgive a friend. I don't know.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I certainly have.
I would imagine.
I certainly have people that were unable for logistics reasons to come to my wedding,
right.
or vice versa. I was unable to go to theirs because it was going to take me,
right.
30 hours to get there.
Impossible.
Even though it was in Poland or somewhere, but like just the layovers and stuff was.
This was a U of M man, a Michigan man named Buzz Alexander, who started the prisoner art project there, and was responsible for showing prisoner art and leading lots of prisoner writing classes. He was on my board for a while, and I ended up being very active in prisoner art work, and he brought down to do a prisoner workshop a friend of mine from Appalachian State University's English professor there, who's the poet laureate for North Carolina, and has written a couple of books that are very worth looking at. Google at one point Coventry by Joseph Bathanti. This is the book I want you to read, and we'll put it on your list of things to do, including watching Moonstruck, which I'm sure you still haven't done. This is a year now. Did you know that? We're on our year anniversary.
We're getting close.
We started in January.
No, we didn't.
We started in January 2000.
No, we didn't.
It's what it said on my Chartable.
No.
Or maybe it was the report for the calendar year.
That was the report for this January year.
Because it hatched in February, didn't it?
It was after we saw each other.
On the ride back from South Carolina.
Yeah, so...
Well, it was on the ride back.
I mean, the first recording, I think, was in March or late February.
Right, but the plot hatched on the way back from our trip.
Coventry by Joseph Bathanti. I had a job once in the town of Coventry, England.
Did you?
In fact, wow, I actually had written down a note for an anecdote to discuss with you about that particular job in Coventry.
Well, let's hear it.
And I think my wife knows, but I don't think I've ever told anyone else. So I went for this job interview at this it was this office park sort of place, but it was like just being built. So there were a couple of brand new buildings and a bunch of other stuff that was under construction, and there were bulldozers and backhoes and shit everywhere. And I was following. This is way before GPS phones. So somehow I was following some map about how to get to this place in Coventry, and I found what I thought I was close. Looking at the map and looking at what I could see around me, I thought I was close to the place, and so I parked, and I looked around and I figured out that the place I want to go to is right across this little field over there on this other, maybe 200 yards away, but there was this sort of field between me and there. So I was like, all right, well,
Were you late?
No, I was a little bit early, as I like to be, for interviews and stuff. And and so I decided, well, I'll walk across this field. And of course, I was wearing my finest suit, as you do, to go to an interview. And so I started walking across this field.
Which is your case, has giant bows on it.
Yeah, well,
I
was
your best suit.
I mean, I was fine. My only suit.
Right.
And so here I am walking across the field, and suddenly my feet start to sink into the mud in this field.
Into the mud.
And you know, like I'm pulling up my feet with my dress shoes, and it's like, you know, just pulling up out of the mud. And I kept all my dress shoes. I made it across this field, but when I got to the other side, my shoes and my pants up to the knee were just covered in mud.
To the knee.
Oh, it's pretty close to the shin.
Right,
so
right.
So here I am.
Shin, right.
I'm still maybe 30 minutes early for the interview, right? So
well, as you go clean up.
So I go and I sort of like wait until someone that has a key card to go into the building goes into the building, and then I sort of follow them in, you know, leaving footprints behind me. And I find the nearest men's room, and I take off my shoes, my socks, and I start washing them in the sink. There's just like the sink is getting all brown and
mud everywhere.
with mud everywhere. And a couple of people come in, you know, just from their desks to go.
The guy was going to interview. Probably,
No. I was on the ground floor. I think I was in a different building actually than the one my interview was in.
Yeah, right.
So that didn't happen. But so I sort of got as cleaned up as I could, and of course, you got to take your pants all the way off to wash the ends of your pant legs, and
of course.
So anyway, I had this 30 minutes of cleaning up, and then I, you know, with my pant legs still damp and my shoes, you know, maybe with a little bit of a squish motion as I was walking, I walked into the interview and I spoke a little bit, and they hired me. But
did they never do during the interview? Were you behind a desk?
Yeah,
they couldn't see your legs.
I walked into a place and sat down behind it at a conference table.
You wouldn't volunteer. You wouldn't volunteer this course. Well, one thing you should know before you hire me is that sometimes I don't think ahead. And for example, on the way to this interview, I decided to walk across what became quicksand.
Yes.
But I'm resourceful. On the other hand, as you can see, then hold up your pant leg and show your wet pants,
right, and
show your wet socks. Say I'm resourceful. They're still a little damp, as you can see, and then wink at them and say, "My underwear did get wet. You want to feel it?"
Yes, good.
Well,
that's the thing that happened to me.
It's an anecdote.
I don't even think my parents know about that. So.
Well, so here's the story that only my wife knows on this spirit of this conversation.
Okay.
And soon you'll know why. And our listeners
we should start a podcast called Stuff Only My Wife Knows.
It has.
But yes, continue.
And I was on the way to the airport where was I? I was in Kansas City. And it was a nice day, and I had to fly from Kansas City to some business place somewhere.
Go Chiefs!
And so, as I go Chiefs,
hey,
yeah, baby,
cultural reference acknowledged.
Yeah, baby, yeah, anyway. Baby. So, anyway, and and San Francisco back again. So, I'm running late, and as I'm running to the airport, my second or maybe third cup of coffee kicks in, and I realize that I really have got to go to the bathroom. And it started to get serious in that I was hearing rumblings in my guts, audible.
Rumble down under.
Audible. And so I rushed, and I went into a kind of a mind place of just control, self-control, as I've been able to do before when I've been recovering from food poisoning on an airplane, for example. You've got
Mind over body.
Learn how to completely control. Otherwise, you'll shit your seat in an airplane, which is not it's not cool, man.
No.
What if you're sitting next to the guy who does that and you're like, what did you do, man? What did you do, man?
Okay, let's stop imagining this because it's vivid enough.
Okay.
Continue.
So there I am. I get to the airport and I get out of the car and I'm under control. And I have but a short parking lot to cross, up a set of stairs, into the foyer of the airport to certain public restrooms. And I was all mantra and very, very clear. And I opened the trunk. I got out of the car. And then when I lifted my 2 suitcases out.
No. The effort. No.
The exertion, quite a bit of a problem.
Oh, no.
And so as I lifted, it was sort of what you'd call a lift and squirt. As opposed to another exercise. You could be, well, we're going to do 5 of these lifts, and then we're going to do 5 squats. So it's a lift and squat. This was, in fact, lift and squirt.
Fuck,
and when it happened,
this episode.
I froze because I couldn't afford an avalanche. I couldn't afford the mouth of the dam to open, so to speak.
Indeed. I understand.
And I realized, of course, that in the self-control mode I was in, that, of course, what my body did to respond was to cut off the exit. But as a result, it roiled within itself.
Oh, no. The demon became upset.
Near the doorway to planet Earth, where it wanted to regenerate with the flowers and the plants. And it was becoming, in fact, a closer and closer to liquid manure. So I stopped dead in my tracks with 2 suitcases in my hand, and I very slowly set them down, and I willed myself to just stop. And I looked up at the staircase, a parking lot, 8 steps, across the street, up 3 steps, and I thought, I've really got to make this work.
Right. My life can go one way or the other.
And then, silently, except for a little splat, I noticed that a drop of my feces dropped out of my pants and onto the top of my shoe.
No.
And it had somehow fallen from its plate of reference to my shoe without soiling my pants.
No.
And I realized
it didn't.
That the mess that had been made
it didn't.
Was going to be, as we might think, a bit of a tightrope from the car to. So here's the end of this grotesque story.
Fuck.
I made it with only 2 additional splats onto my shoe all the way to the restroom without ever soiling my pants, so that once I discarded my underwear and literally washed myself from tit to ankle in the restroom,
as I often say,
donned my suit, and I must say, wearing that suit without any underwear made me feel a little sexy.
Yeah.
But clean again.
Okay.
Clean again.
So there's no way there wasn't a little bit in your pants. I'm sorry. The journey down to your shoe. It was a miracle. The journey down to your shoe either left something on your legs.
No, it rolled off it rolled toward my buttocks and then dripped directly from my buttocks, from my underwear, dripped directly down my baggy pant leg and landed on my shoe. And when it splatted, I lifted up my pant leg and said, of course, oh shit. I could have said, in fact, hello, shit. I could have taken the persona of a 3-year-old and been like perfectly happy and said, oh,
hello there.
Hello, shit. Hello. Hello. You're looking a bit ill.
This could be like
a bit shabby.
This could be like a superpower. When someone does you wrong, you can just pop one of those down to your shoe and fling it at them. Yeah.
That's nice. No, just scrape it off with your finger and shoot it at them with your finger and thumb. Boom.
Yeah.
Hit them right in the middle of the forehead with your own shit. You know what you say to them? Take that. Take that.
Yes.
A total assault, body and mind.
The whole story of mind over body and, really clinching that sphincter. God, this is a great episode. It's I've had times when
our first star rating.
Yes, everyone go to iTunes and give this episode a 5-star rating. Yes, and I've had that sensation of I have to stop this, and then like the sensation goes away, like you no longer need
just
to
momentarily.
anymore.
But you have to prepare. So what alone in the woods, snowmobiling gear on, fishing gear on, heavy, cold, suspenders and just rigging.
Okay,
and to be able to make certain, it's coming,
right.
It's crowning, it's coming. As my brother would say, man, I'm going to shit a ham. I'm going to drop a ham.
Yeah, and knowing that you need 4 minutes to get off all of your gear to allow your anal access to the atmosphere.
And a strange, chaotic joy, a joy of disturbance and twisted reality.
Yes,
is crouching in the woods and literally cannonballing, spewing, leaving a track maybe 4 or 5 yards from the point of departure. There is
while you're walking, you're not
joy.
You're not coming from one spot and spraying.
Quickly drop trowel, get everything done on time. The explosion occurs. You leave a 12-foot track
while you're running.
No.
Or you're stopped and you're spraying like a flamethrower for 5 yards.
Wait a minute. How would you shit in the woods while you were running?
I don't know. You're saying that you're leaving a track.
That's because you crouch and you're explosive, and
it goes out 15 feet. 15 feet.
Oh, 12 feet. Sure. Oh, yes, a spray. Boom.
Fuck.
But back to your point. So I'm trying to image.
I normally do these into bowls.
A man in the woods running and shitting his. He's running.
Well, sure.
It's actually much funnier than what I'm talking about. But have you done that? Is that why you know?
I am not a bear.
You've been in the woods running and had to shit yourself?
I'm not a bear. I have not shit in the woods. Well, maybe I did once, but it was under very controlled circumstances. So,
did you ever use a leaf to wipe your ass?
I think maybe the answer is yes. But
a couple of quick things about this. The first experience of using a leaf to wipe your ass is usually unsuccessful because you overestimate the dexterity of the leaf, and so your finger pops through the leaf, and you end up wiping your ass with your own finger. The second time you do it, now you're 4 and 5 leaves thick, and you've found some with the thicker texture, and then you're left with the sad fact that you got a green ass, but at least you're clean. At least you're clean.
I mean, it depends on if it's December or April, right? I would think.
Well, there's nothing like shitting in the snow. The white, the dark brown,
it's
black
so
on
gorgeous.
white.
Yes.
The steam, the fog.
The steam, the fog.
Yeah, I tried to catch that fog once, but I missed.
Oh, Lordy. Well, apologies to our listeners for this.
The faint of heart.
This episode of scatological.
Scatman Crothers. Scatman.
Check
out. Show our listeners the clip of The Shining, where he comes in the house and
finally a link for the show notes. Jesus,
we've had several.
Right, all of our links to Anyway,
there's got to be a link somewhere to stories of people shitting themselves.
Well, I just want to throw out that that this phenomenon it's one of the benefits that I enjoy from working from home. Let's just say that I have the bathroom nearby, and
good.
I'm not working in a suit.
Smittix. Red ale. I went out and played poker the other night, took 2 Smittix with me, drank them back, brought 3 Smittix back.
What?
Check that. Left with 2 Smittix to
Yep.
the poker, drank 2 of them, returned with 3 Smittix.
This word problem is someone was gambling bottles of Smittix and you won?
No. A friend left early, and rather than take his 3 remaining Smittix back, he said, Dennis, you can have them.
Well, that's what I call
There
a
I am.
friend.
Friend.
A friend that donates beer is a friend, so to speak.
So imagine that we played poker, 7 of us, for 3 hours, and at the end of 3 hours, everybody broke even except one guy lost 5, one guy won 5, one guy lost 9, one guy won 9. The 3 other people broke completely even. What are the odds?
You guys are evenly matched, or
I know it's
suck at poker. I don't know.
I don't think it's good for our listeners to hear you yawn in response to one of my little anecdotes. I think maybe just
They
like
can't hear-
when
hold
you
on.
sneeze, you cover your mic.
There you go. We'll edit that in.
Next, we're going to wait for you to say, "Oh, wait a minute. Were you saying something?"
I edited all those out. All the times where like 10 minutes go by and then I realize that I'm on a call with you and I look back at you and you've said something about sports or poker or something. The listeners don't hear that. Like that's just cut. I cut that out.
Oh, you cut it out?
Yeah.
You edited it out?
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to hear that? How do you know?
Well,
How do you know? That's why we only got 2 listeners, because you keep cutting all the good shit out.
maybe that's true. I should leave in all
This
of
is
your
good. It's
Yontastic.
everything.
Yes.
Everything. You don't cut. Substance. This
No.
is substantive.
This is meaty.
Uh-huh.
This is meaty, good, solid podcast protein that we're putting out here. So it's not filler content.
Ba-ba-da, ba-da-da.
So, hey, psst, whistle boy. I have a brief rant that I would like to podcast to the world. I was recently looking around and I had a Sunday afternoon to myself and was looking around for some entertainment, and I went to Netflix and I was saying, I wonder if there's any sort of stand-up comedy routines or something that I might want to watch. And I looked around and there was one by Seth Meyers. And Seth Meyers, during this whole 3 years of Trump now, has been my favorite of the 4 late night comedians. Your Trevor Noah, your Colbert, your John Oliver, and Seth Meyers. I really enjoyed Seth Meyers' take on things more than the others. He's more more fearless. He goes right at Trump and says, this is stupid.
More fearless than Sunday show?
Than
John Oliver?
John Oliver he's more willing to swear because he can, but he doesn't. He's more interested in doing journalistic stories of uncovering injustices in the U.S.
highly researched, as opposed to
Whereas Seth Meyers is looking at yesterday's news and saying, "Haha."
It wants to be funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Seth Meyers, he had this stand-up special, which I will link to at happyhour.fm/044. And he did this stand-up where it was good. It's really clean stand-up if you don't mind the word fucking, because he drops the F-bomb a couple times. But it was all just about relationships and fun and modern New York life with Uber and et cetera, et cetera. But then, towards the end, he said, okay, now I'm about to get political. I'm going to talk about politics. So, Netflix has told me, because this is a Netflix special, Netflix has told me that that if you don't want to hear me talk about politics, you can click down here on this button on the corner of the screen, and you will skip to after the politics. And sure enough, a button appeared that said, like, skip politics. And I did not like that. I think that's very... First of all, from a technological point of view, that's super cool that Netflix can do that sort of thing where they can make a button appear that you can click and go and skip some sections. They did this with Black Mirror, famously. Black Mirror had this episode where there was, choose your own adventure. You could go to different parts of the story. But I thought it was sort of cowardly to say, okay, here's this comedian, and then when he starts to talk about what he really believes in, you right-wing people can skip this so that you don't get offended.
And he's the one who has to explain it, taking a break from his routine.
Yeah, he said
to explain the technology.
He said
that's like a fucking commercial.
Right. Well, I mean, I
can't believe he would do that.
But obviously,
I can't believe he would do that.
But I mean, he knows he's on a Netflix special. He knows that this is being recorded to be released on Netflix, just like everyone that is on any of these stand-up comedy things knows. But he said, "Look, I've been told by Netflix that there's going to be a button down here, and you can click it to skip past this." And then he went on, and then he went on his normal Seth Meyers rant about how bullshit Trump is, and which our viewers will know that we agree with. And then at some point, 20 minutes later, or 15 minutes later, he said, "Okay, now we're at the time where the other people are going to be skipping to." Just so that they are inclined to go back and listen to it, I'm going to say the following sentence. "Oh wow, I was really wrong about him. He really is a really good president." Just to fuck with the people that skipped to that point, to make them think, "Oh, maybe I should go back and listen." But what I know technologically is that Netflix is tracking exactly at which second of that show people are clicking the skip politics button.
People click off.
So what they're gauging. They know you as a user. Netflix is using this technology. They're being able to measure exactly what point you get offended by his mockery of Trump, because at some point, because the button stayed there for the whole time, and at some point, if you got offended by something, you might click, "Well, I'm going to skip this shit." But that gives Netflix data about you, about what you believe, and about how to best tailor shows to you, which is creepy.
Well, they don't really care about me. They care about the bunch of me.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, no, wrong. They do care about you. Because if you waited,
only as part of a group.
If you watch the whole thing, then they know that you don't find that disagreeable enough to click on the button. But if you listen to,
my point is that puts me in that group. So right. I'm in that group.
Yes, but
if I'm there by myself, if I'm the only one who listens to the whole thing, then that's the exception to the rule.
Yes, but you're thinking as if groups are, like, you're thinking as if it's a human making these decisions, but because
clicking the button.
But no,
it is a human.
Yes, it is. It's the viewer, but they know that if you listen to 5 minutes and 10 seconds as opposed to 5 minutes and 11 seconds, then they know that you are more opposed to those points of view than the one that listened to 5 minutes and 11 seconds. So they can then tailor the content to you. They can put you on a spectrum. You're not in groups necessarily, but in a spectrum of how disagreeable you find stuff.
I understand a spectrum is the way that the data and the information is collected, but in the analytics of the data, what you're going to do is you're going to say, "Hey guys, let me tell you some interesting things. We lost 20% of our people in the first minute sometime. We lost another 20% in the second minute. By the time we got to 6 minutes, we lost 70%. So what they're doing is they're actually grouping the 1 minute people, the 2 minute people. Why? Because that's what makes the analytics important. The spectrum is the way to collect it. The analytics is what makes it discernible as to what we do about it. That means that if we want to make let's say that we had a spike at 3 minutes, a spike at 3 minutes, we would say, this is what we've learned. If we keep those political comments to less than 3 minutes,
Right.
We will not lose 45% of our audience that fouls. And then someone says, but how much do we lose per second from 2.3 minutes to 3? And you can be told that, so you can moderate. The point, of course, is that it's useful.
You're right about how it is presented in the board meeting. But I think if they are clever about it, and I think Netflix is the cleverest corporation out there doing this, I think that you can go even finer detail when you get down to the algorithm of, should we show this person this particular documentary about 9/11 or something? Should we recommend it? And you can differentiate that between someone that stopped at 3 minutes and 1 second or 3 minutes and 3 seconds. And I think that talking about it in the boardroom, you say, yes, there are these cohorts that we have divided into these groups. But I think at the level where the actual computer is suggesting what to watch, I think they can do even better than that. But I don't work there, so.
They can. But the fact of the matter, too, is, practically speaking, outside of the boardroom, the programmers that have to decide what to do with the stuff say, look, we see over the spectrum that the difference between 2.35 minutes and 2.39 minutes is that there is a spike after that, which has a much higher trajectory from that point forward.
Yes.
So subjectively, we would say that 2.36 is the acceptable level, and we'll eat that. They, too, are grouping.
I agree. Everyone's grouping. All the time. Yes.
I'm reading a novel set in the northern frigid waters of the Arctic Circle in the old days when they were whaling, and I do mean fishing for whale and whaling as well. When the ship wrecked and yeah, ended up on the ice floe, and what they did back in the 1800s to respond to a sinking ship on an ice
what are you reading?
In the Arctic.
What are you reading about this?
It's a novel.
A book. What's it called?
It's The North something.
All right. I'll edit that out, and you can send me a fucking email where you sound smart.
Right.
Yes.
It always happens. I start with the best of intentions.
Continue. Yes, they're whaling.
End up being mentally inferior. Anyway, the whaling and this cold 9-degree weather here reminds me of the setting of this novel, where it's all in the Arctic back in the turn of the century, and it's just astounding to hear of the coldness and the disaster that can happen in that cold. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Crimes committed.
Is it called The North Water?
Yes.
By Ian McGuire?
Yes.
Okay. The North Water. Yes, I've heard of this.
Yes, The North Water by Ewan McGregor, not to be confused with the actor.
Ian McGuire.
Yes,
that sounds.
McGuire as opposed to McGregor.
Yes,
the actor. From the other movie you probably haven't seen on your list. Did you watch Moulin Rouge?
I have not, but we have discussed it.
Okay.
My next movie.
Just another.
The movie that that is top priority is The Joker, because, I'm sorry, Joker, as the title is.
You haven't seen it?
Because it got nominated for all these Oscars, and I haven't seen it yet. And either it will be...
Oh, my God.
Either it will be... I hate to watch a great movie on in-flight entertainment, but I can maybe try and find it to watch on my flights towards you later this month. So... yes, I definitely want to watch that with my full utmost attention, unlike what I give you.
So let me ask you this. Between now and the middle of February, will you be somewhat proficient on your new electric guitar?
I will... In the middle of February, I will not have my electric guitar because I'm not bringing it to the States.
No. Don't. Just it's a question about your skill level by that time.
Proficiency.
Not about the... Excuse me?
How do you define proficiency?
How do you? That's the question. It's your fucking guitar.
Yeah, as a bilingual person, people often ask me, so are you fluent in Spanish? And once you know enough of another language, that word sort of loses meaning, because it's like, yes, I can talk to a Spaniard, but if they want to talk to me about a particular domain of knowledge, like auto mechanics or something like that,
philosophy,
philosophy, sure, or the philosophy of auto mechanics, then I don't know that vocabulary. But if you want to talk to me about, hey, can you pick up that object over there and take it over to the other place, then sure. But it's...
Have you, latching on to a little thing here before I forget, did you read Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance?
I've not. I've heard of it.
Oh, God.
I've heard
that
it's an important book.
Put it on the list.
I have a brief thing to mention that recently...
Another anecdote
by Eric. Starting anecdote now. For the second time in the year that we've owned our new car, a little rock fell off of a truck in front of us and cracked the windshield. And then the crack sort of grew and grew and grew, and our car insurance paid to get it fixed. But this time, the first time, my wife told me after she had already gotten it fixed, she said, "Oh yeah, the windshield broke and I got it fixed, and like a month ago." And yeah, that happened. Not unlike
didn't know it?
Not unlike your situation.
There's an update on that.
Well, hold on.
Remind me.
Yeah, I will.
It's funny. Go ahead.
So anyway, this time I was driving and the little rock fell and it made a crack, and then we noticed over the course of that day that it grew a little bit. So anyway, we took it in to get fixed, and I went to go pick up the car after it had been fixed, and the guy that was there fixing it in this tiny little garage, like just the car barely fit in the little space. He was excited to talk to me about windshield repair, because that's what he does, and because our car is modern and it has these little gizmos that, like, there's a camera so they can sense whether you're in the lane or not, and it will keep you in the lane, and another one that senses the distance of the car in front of you, so it can monitor that. Because it has all these extra gizmos, it takes a lot longer to just replace the windshield, because you got to replace the windshield and then you have to calibrate all of this other shit.
Wow! Because it's the electronics is built into the window.
Right. Well, I mean, the camera goes through there's a camera by where the rearview mirror is, and so anyway, I got there and he had the car set up with a big sort of screen in front of it with all these dots on it, like to calibrate how the car should see things, and he had all these lasers set up so that he could and a little plumb bob on the hood of the car, because part of doing his job was to tilt the car at 7.5 degrees or whatever, and then also measure how it saw where the dots were, and then tilt it another way, tilt it back the other way 7.5 degrees or whatever. And so he was doing all of these things while I got there, and he was like, "It's going to be another 45 minutes," and so I walked away. But then I came back, and but it was really interesting to see that now there's all this sort of modern tech, and
wow.
And I mentioned to him, "Wow, this is amazing! You can't just pop off the windshield and pop on a new windshield like you could in the good old days." And he said,
"Yeah, it was last year."
Yeah, and he said,
that was like a year ago.
And don't get me started on Teslas. And I said, Teslas? There are almost no Teslas in Spain. And he said, well, you would think that, but actually there are a couple. In fact, he has replaced a windshield on a Tesla that was owned by some team manager from the Barcelona soccer team, who he had a brief conversation with, like he did with me, and who clearly had more money than he knew what to do with. But he said that with the Teslas, there's all these extra shit the diagnostics you have to perform. But I thought it was interesting that, just like everything, just like how now it takes 7 minutes for your fucking TV to turn on, Whereas before it would just
Yeah.
be like, ding, and now it's on.
Yeah.
Now everything is
Yeah.
a computer and has to boot up and shit. So
Yeah. That's nuts. That's nuts.
So give me the quick summary on your bumper situation before we go.
My what? My what?
The thing that didn't happen to your car while you were there.
Oh. So, in the ongoing saga, the other night I was driving my wife's car. She was the passenger, which is always a questionable situation.
Indeed.
The secondary driver, so to speak. And we had been out, had dinner, and had a few drinks. And as I pulled into my icy, wet backyard where I've got to turn around and I can park the car, but I want to turn it around so it's ready to go instead of having to turn around in the morning. As I turned it to turn it around, the front of it bumped into a trailer I have there that's got some stuff in it. And she got upset because I had bumped the trailer with her car. And there was no harm, no foul. It was a little bump. There was no damage,
Right.
you know. And she said, what are you doing? And this and that. And I said, well, no harm, no foul. It's okay. And we get out of the car, we go in. So starting the next day, this was about
She went out to look at the car.
3 weeks ago. No. Starting about 3 weeks ago to this day, she is saying to me occasionally when I'm in the car and driving it that I better be careful. And she's calling me the guy who bumps things. Because you're the guy who bumps things with my car.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I want to think, oh, if you only knew. So today in the ice-frozen tundra of the Arctic 9-degree temp and the blowing snow, and it got warm and then icy and then blowing, when I went to the back bumper of the car, the snow and ice had separated the crack and had formed little tentacles coming out, and so I kicked them.
Good job.
Further cracked the bumper momentarily, and then hit it again and snapped it back into place so that once again the crack. And so I was just thinking as I did that, what is it going to be like when she sees that? And I explained to her that it happened in November of 2019,
Yeah.
which could be 2 years after the fact.
Right.
And this poor man who was crying and screaming and wailing,
I remember.
who hit me,
Yep.
who said, I don't have any money, and what am I going to do? This is disaster. And he could barely deal with the fact that his front headlight was out of place, let alone this crack in this bumper, which was probably that repair, $1,400 to $1,600. You got to replace the bumper. You can't fix it.
Right.
And so there's going to be hell to pay. Calling me the guy who bumps other cars. It's like based on this mild
Right.
bump of this trailer, as opposed to, you know, and it wasn't my fault. I didn't do this. I didn't do this. It was done to me. It was my response to it,
Right.
of course, which is to say, you know, just go.
Yeah.
God
your
bless,
response was,
you know?
was great. And when that trailer
Well,
when that trailer bumped into you the other night, you know, you were also magnanimous when you said, "Trailer, just deal with it's fine."
No harm, no foul. Maybe that's the subtext for tonight's episode. No harm, no foul. But hey,
Yes.
stay tuned. Stay tuned. Next week, remind me, Stories of the High Sea.
Okay.
Stories of the High Sea.
The high sea.
And also
or
know
high
this.
seas?
High Sea, one sea, the Pacific Ocean. But know this too, I don't want an episode to go by without a reference to, of course, Ray
Donovan.
Tonight, this weekend was the finale of the 7th season, and the 8th season brings promise. But it appears that the 8th season is very likely to be the last season.
Oh no.
We're at 80 episodes. There will be 10 more. There will be 90. So what I urge you to
Seems like
do
enough.
is on your list, because you don't do much during the day at all. I don't know what people think you do, but we know that you don't do any of that.
I mean-
what you do is you lay around and watch movies and shit. So you got 70 what, 70? You watch 2 episodes, you got 78 hours left,
Yeah.
right? To catch up before the final season 8 begins.
Well, that is a goal to shoot for, so to speak.
So to speak.
Well, this has been the first part was really quite shitty. But I think we pulled it around and we talked about some interesting things. And I will talk to you next week, Dennis. And that's it for episode 44. You can find the show notes at happyhour.fm/044. You can support us at patreon.com/happyhour because we need money to re-register this domain name, for example. And you can contact us at happyhourdotfm@gmail.com. And, as always, see you next week.
Hey, matey. Next episode, Stories of the High Seas.
Arr, matey.
Arr, mate.
Will there be treasure?
There be treasure.
Or only tales
Arr,
of treasure?
mate. Tales of treasure. Out.
Out?